And I can only imagine what my father would have thought as he took the 8:17 train from Whittam into Liverpool Street, and then the news, homosexuality had been legalized. Not knowing that far away across the country, I was sitting there in my little shorts, plotting and preparing for a long career as, you know, a screaming queen.
There we go.
I do. What do you call yourself now, then?
An accidental lesbian,
right.
Tresbian.
Lesbian.
It was rare to be gay, and it was fun finding a world that was. Never in a million years would I have thought that I could marry a man.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know that he's bent?
Well, I do now. You okay? Bang him on, mate, and get a lift.
He's just tangled. Do you want to hook him up?
Hook him on, mate, and get a lift.
He's just tangled. Do you want to hook him up?
And you were a young police officer?
Yes, I was, yes.
And you were sent down there to do what?
We were in what was called the plainclothes department. It was a licensing vice department, and we would look into complaint and take whatever action we thought was necessary.
So you would come down here, and what would happen exactly?
Well, you'd come down the staircase here and see men using these toilets in and out, in and out. But then you'd notice that some men weren't going in and out, and we would wait and watch, see what they were doing.
Did they have to do something that was incriminating?
What we would find sometimes, the men were masturbating. Not each other, that would be an offence of gross indecency. But what you'd find, they'd be standing facing that wall and masturbating and staying there for a period, looking sideways. That would say...
That would be enough?
That would be our, importuning.
So you'd go and stand next to somebody, I'd be here, observed by you coming and going as someone who's not leaving.
Yes.
And then you move up towards here.
Probably here.
I love you saying there. How are you going to see if I've got an erection from over there?
We can see over the top.
If it covers that high?
And if we can probably see your arm moving for masturbation.
And then, so wank, 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 and then look, 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 and then you'd say...
I'm a police officer. I'm arresting you for importuning for an immoral purpose.
And what were their faces like at that point?
Aghast.
Aghast, right?
Yes.
But when these things happened and you saw that aghast face and that you knew someone was going to get a criminal record basically for these things, didn't they?
Yes.
It's quite a responsibility in a way.
It was, and I wasn't happy about it because my true feeling is we live and let live. So that was my job at the time, and that I had to do that. So I didn't have a choice, really.
It's kind of unimaginable that you think that people would even think of going down to a public toilet to have sex, really. It's a kind of forgotten, well, it's like being in the Titanic here, almost.
It wasn't probably to have sex, it was more to pick up.
Yeah.
We used to be arresting people for importuning because we thought they were then going to commit an immoral act.
It must have seemed like the end of the world for a poor guy who was already hiding his sexual identity to be suddenly faced with the kind of spotlight of a court appearance, and in the courts always there were, journalists from the local paper just on the off chance that something exciting would happen. So you really had a chance to be quite ruined by these experiences, right up, I think, until the 70s. My parents sent me to a sixth form college in London, and I was what was called a PG, a paying guest, in a very nice house. And they had two dogs called Samson and Biscuit. I would take Samson and Biscuit for a walk, and one day I saw this extraordinary figure in total black leather. And I'd never, ever seen anything like this before. He squeaked. He had like high boots on, he had a biker's hat, and we couldn't believe what was happening, me and Samson and Biscuit. And then he turned left in this road, and we followed. And then he went into this pub, and we followed. And we looked through the windows of this pub, and it was full of kind of cowboys and Indians, and more of these people in extraordinary leather outfits. And so the next day, I decided I'd go in myself.
You going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Thank you very much.
Download Veely now.
I'm now on my way into the renowned ex-Coleherne Arms, which has now been renamed the Pembroke. It was quite an extraordinary place, and every time I used to come, I used to walk around the block about 5 times before coming in to get the courage up and to make sure there were no friends of my parents or something who would see me going in, because it was a well-known den of iniquity. Can you speak any Polari?
No, but I remember it from when it was...
Vada the Eek on that one.
Yeah.
If someone gives me a phone, I should read you the beginning of the Bible in Polari, because it's absolutely brilliant. Yes, in the beginning, Gloria created heaven and the earth was nantiform and void, and Munge was upon the Eek of the deep, and the fairy of Gloria trolled upon the Eek of the aquas, and Gloria cackled, let there be sparkle, and there was sparkle, and Gloria varded the sparkle, that it was Bona, and Gloria medzered the sparkle from the Munge, and Gloria screeched the sparkle Giorno, and the Munge she screeched Notchi, and the bijou Notchi in the morning with the first Giorno. It's genius. What's great about coming here with all of you is when I first came on the gay scene, this was the place I came to.
Yeah.
And now it's a kind of rather mimsy gastropub. But of course, back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, it was a leather bar. And the thing I remember thinking about coming in here was that there was something about you counted just for daring to come in somehow, because we weren't illegal in the 70s and 80s, but we were still, it was still a difficult position. So that the whole feeling of community, which there really was in the 70s, and particularly since it was such a smaller community, that seems to me...
It's all gone, that community that we had because of it. Yeah. The joy was finding other people who were like you in those sort of situations. That was exciting to meet people, to find people were gay. Because it was rare to be gay. But it was fun finding a world that was.
Even after the change in the law in '67, all through the '70s, the television imagery was still either screaming queens or people who were deviant and so on. It was so negative, there were no positive role models.
But it made us resilient, and even the fayest queen is actually quite a macho in a way, because they knew how to protect themselves.
Oh, absolutely. If you're going to be camp or a drag or semi-drag or anything, you had to be tough as nails.
Yeah. One of the things that was marvellous about the time in here, everyone would be standing, quite a lot of people on their own. You could just go up behind them and fiddle with their bums or touch their cock and stuff like that. And no one really minded. If they didn't want it, they just push you off. Let's go outside and go around the corner. All the motorbikes were here.
Yes.
and everyone stood at this corner. That was quite intimidating, arriving at this corner.
Yeah.
And then cruising would happen around here. And this is where my friend Tom Bell lived, and we used to just sit in this window at closing time in the pub, and if we saw something we fancied, we'd come beetling out and follow them around, because everyone just went round and round and round this block. You'd go to the end here, and then round, what I don't know if it's called Wolfdale Street. Someone would kind of be standing here, just stand here for hours.
No go.
Hello.
I have to do it for old time's sake.
Looking kind of vacant.
Yeah.
And then following, like, kind of moving. Someone walks past and you don't look, and and then you kind of follow like this. And then sometimes you'd follow someone around for hours before anything happened. And then you could go into the Mews back there, and then that's where quite often things really kicked off. This was great.
Oh, yes.
And so you'd go through here, and then you'd be found like this.
It used to look different in the dark.
You'd disappear around the corner, get arranged, and then...
Happy memories?
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt. Really, really happy. Yeah.
It had been legal to be gay for 10 years, but I don't think that really had changed very much, to be quite honest. I think it was still seen as something quite horrific. England was a very, very peculiar place because it was just a huge mass of different standards and contradictions. I remember once I was helping my mum get ready to go out, and she had an elaborate kind of ritual, which she had she was lovely, my mum. She had kind of hair like this, and she'd pull up strands and she'd backcomb them like this, and then stand up, and then she had this big can of L-net hairspray, and I would hold the L-net, and she would backcomb the thing, and I go like this, and I was obviously enthralled by this process. And one day she said, we caught each other's eyes in the mirror, and she said, "I'll kill you if you're queer." And I went, so I knew that by that point there was going to be some kind of battle ahead. Oh my God.
Looking pretty hot there in your marigolds. Let's keep them on.
I'm watching Hollyoaks, and basically, this is like porn. Well, the reason I'm so fascinated by Hollyoaks is that it's full of young people, some of them gay, but a lot of them straight, playing in mainstream television, going into the houses of everyone around England. You know, amazing gay stories, including crystal meth addiction and HIV. I mean, there's no holds barred in the Hollyoaks approach. It's been challenging at various points in my career being gay. At least certainly for when I was younger, it was certainly a much more complicated thing. How does it feel? How does it feel for you?
So before I came out publicly, I ended up coming out on a television show.
Oh right, hang on. So let's go back. So when you came into this show,
when I first was in the show, my character was straight,
and so was
hadn't
you.
explored his sexuality, and I wasn't out publicly either. So
but you were gay then?
Yeah.
Right.
But not publicly. I remember before I did it, there was one person that was like, as soon as you do this, you're going to end your career. I never forget those words. But in actual fact, it was completely the opposite, and I can't believe that I was ever in the closet, as they say.
You, for example, aren't gay.
No.
So that must be quite a pressure in one sense. How does that feel?
I don't really know. Like, to me, because I've had anyone that comes up to me in the street and stuff saying, oh, I like your character and stuff, I've been really lucky that no one said anything negative or no one's come up to me and said anything homophobic about the character, which I thought would be happening if I'm on their screens every day.
Who, for example, is the fan base? Is it girls? Is it gays? Is it
There's a lot of, like, teenage girls, I think, love Starry, but I think the female fan base are the ones that obviously get involved in all the social media.
And they have this thing called fanfics where they create their own storylines of what
you should be doing.
What they should be doing, which lots of them are sexual ones as well. So I think, yeah, and it's a lot of teenage girls that write these fanfics.
Maybe straight sexuality, because of porn and everything, has become quite shocking to young girls, and maybe this is slightly, it's kind of, there's a little bit of distance for them, and they can observe men, but without feeling that, God, they're going to have to do all of this.
There's a bit of fantasy to it, I guess, isn't it?
It's strange, though. I'm not a particular fan of marriage in general, either straight or gay, to be honest. In my day, they were kind of slightly gruesome events where at the stag do, some poor hookers would be got in to give blowjobs to men on coke under the table. And I always found it quite horrible, and none of the marriages lasted. And I remember thinking, oh, thank God, I'm gay and I'll never have to go through all this. Here we are today, and you're getting married. Tell me one thing. Was civil partnership not enough?
No.
So why is that?
Because marriage now, between two men, after all the struggles that people, Alan Turing and everything else, and everything that's happened in history, now is the time to stand up and say, yes, we can get married. Yes, we can stand side by side in public. And that's fantastic for me. Never in a million years would I ever thought that I could marry a man. Have another rose. Pick up a wire and feed it through the top like that. Put it through there like that, and then pull it up like that. Okay?
Fill me in a little bit on the format of the day.
Okay, ceremony is going to be in that room there, and then we come down. And I think that's when it's going to really hit me that I'm actually getting married to a man.
And this is the man!
To that man.
How embarrassing.
And you know, it's only been, for me, a couple of months since I hate this word, came out. That's horrible. It's horrible. Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes. Because I wanted to marry Coop, our banns had to be read, and then the media found out, and I was outed.
Oh, they didn't think you were gay before? I mean, you're very butch, I understand, but I mean, I thought you were married, but gayish.
Gayish? What is gay, Rupert?
Well, I don't need to give you a geographical...
But you see, I think we are all on that sliding scale.
How did being gay hit you when you were aged 18, 19?
Well, when I was reaching puberty, of course, I mean, you begin to realise then who you're attracted to. And I was going to a boys' school, and I thought there's something wrong with me. Why do I feel this way? And after football and rugby, getting changed and going into the showers, it was a nightmare for me.
Oh, you should have come to my school.
Was it much fun at your school?
It was unbelievable, my school. I mean, I had sex with almost everybody in the school before I was 8.
But
so when did you have your first? I mean, when did it kind of hit you being properly gay when you came to London?
Well, coming to London, of course, as a young 18-year-old, having no sexual experience at all, was an eye-opener. And going to work at Buckingham Palace, of course.
Was that aged 18?
18, my first job.
The royal family seemed to be rather gay-friendly, if you ask me, it seems.
I met, of course, every member of the royal family and all their friends too. And it is a very flamboyant society. The thing is, the institution of marriage, as the Queen said to me one day whilst we were feeding the corgis, and she said, you know, Paul, marriage is a fine institution. And when you have children inside a marriage, it's a wonderful foundation on which to build your life. Have you thought about getting married? And I said, well, Your Majesty, I have, yes, I'd love to have children. She said, well, look around the palace. There's some beautiful young girls around the palace.
And that was, your wife was one of them?
My wife was one of them.
Right.
So I went into the Queen's bedroom one day, and there's this young girl pulling over the counterpane over the Queen's bed, and she says, could you give me a hand with this? And I did. I pulled over and I thought, you were very sweet. And that was my wife. So I met my wife in the Queen's bedroom.
Will she be coming tomorrow?
No, I don't think it'd be appropriate for her to be here. Because this is another world. It's a different world. So, Rupert, I am absolutely amazed that you do not believe in the institution of gay marriage.
As a gay achievement, I absolutely see it as being a major thing. For me personally, I suppose I was just brought up not to like marriage.
Well, that's sad. You'll never wake up with a partner whom you've just married and say, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yes, but I could be saying that to someone I hadn't married to.
Yes, you could, but it's still transient.
Well, the whole of life is transient. But we mustn't get into a fight about it. I mean, it's just, yes, so one other question.
Yes.
Is it very rude? Do you think I could see your outfit?
There we go.
I do.
Yes, well... Well, you see, tomorrow you said, will Diana be with me?
Yeah.
She will.
Yeah,
because she had those made for me. And so
gorgeous.
I'll wear those tomorrow.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely, yeah.
Is everyone's around?
Yeah, this is my family. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Good. Are you good? This is Rupert. This is my little baby, Nick.
Hi there. How are you?
And Alex.
Hi, Alex. How are you? So, thank you very, very much. Have a lovely time. We will. And I'll see you. Bye.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You have to meet everybody else now. I think everything at the moment is Alice in Wonderland in our country. Nothing is quite what it seems. So there's Bull Barrel's wedding, accepted by everyone around, the hotel, the people working in the hotel. No one raised eyebrows. But elsewhere, you can just never tell how things are. Now that you can't say faggot or puff or all the things that you used to be able to say, you now don't really know who's thinking faggot or puff. So the gay world should not just think, oh, the job's been done. Feels as if there's no sense of community in the same way as there was. Now, on a Grindr, you just send a picture of your arsehole and say, I'm 5 minutes away. And here she comes, the St. Teresa of the gay scene. Hi, Tony.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm feeling a bit moved, actually, a bit weepy.
I know, right? It's kind of cool.
Because I haven't been to heaven since, I wouldn't say, maybe 1986.
The first time I came here, Freddie Mercury was here, upstairs in the Star Bar, and then Mark Armour. You know, so that generation, people that come here today wouldn't know that stuff. The gay scene at the moment, the way it stands, is you don't go out to pick up men, you don't go out to find sex, you don't go out for a date. It's all done by iPhone, it comes to you. And it kind of, the sad thing about it for me is the fact that the gay scene's lost that intimacy. Sex parties took over. So people stay in now. They stay in and they do their drugs at home. They kind of think that it's glamorous to slam. They think it's glamorous to have these sex parties where they've got 20 guys in their house all weekend that rotate from house to house. These kids, they don't go to one sex party. They go out on a Thursday or a Friday. They go to a sex party. They stay there for 24 hours. From the minute they go in that house, they're all on Grindr. They're all sitting there on those apps looking for the next party. They exhaust the drugs at that party. They go to the next party.
What is the solution of it?
Well,
do you, for example, agree with legalisation of drugs? That's
a tough one because, for me, drugs aren't the problem for me. I'm the problem.
People are the problem.
Yeah, people are the problem.
But what if it's the people then? What is it in the people that has allowed crystal meth to come in then?
We're gay men. Mm-hmm. We love sex. You bring a drug into the fold that prolongs sex and gives you a bigger sex drive. When you reach 40 and suddenly you think you're no longer that man and you suddenly find these drugs that make you that man, that give you that strength to go for 3 days to 4 days, you're playing with fire.
And what made you stop?
I got to that point in my life where it was either stopping or dying.
Right.
I weighed 7 stone, I had no teeth. I pulled all my teeth out. I had a thing called meth mouth where when I smoked cigarettes, I used to have to literally open my mouth like that because my cheeks would stick together.
And the amazing thing is, then since then...
I have all new teeth.
Yeah, no, you look amazing too. You look about 20 years younger too.
25.
Do you think a need to conform is driving people to excess?
Oh, without a doubt. We don't have tribes anymore. We don't have that look. We don't have punks. We don't have all of that freedom of the way we are. But what we do have is we had this conformity to be a gay male, to go to the gym, to take steroids, to be as pumped and ripped as possible and to do as many drugs as possible. That's our aim. And that's the kind of the gay lifestyle that we have today. And growing up around that and being a 16, 17-year-old kid that strives to be the perfect gay male, it's conforming, of course it is.
Change gon' come. Where the change gon' come.
Don't run.
I know the change gon' come.
Yo, change is gonna come. I swear Dan, I will make you pussies run. Make you regret saying you fucked with this one. You're over there shouting, yo, suck your mum. Batty boy, faggy, take it up the bum. I'm looking at you like you got the wrong one, kid. Tolerance, I ain't got none. You see me, I'm a gangster gay.
But so were you always out gay? No, not at all. Right.
No. I have an experience coming out. I was outed. My cousin, who I was really close to, she knew. We had a disagreement. Right. And then she told my family. My family are from Jamaica.
Jamaica. So one thing I really don't understand is the homophobia in Jamaica. It's
more of a thing where it's just set in their ways. It's been there for so long. But it's one of the most homophobic places, and it's got such a large homosexual population. But growing up in my community, the music I listened to, hip hop, bashment, dancehall, it was just very homophobic. So even if no one said to you being gay is wrong, the songs told you gay is wrong. So when I was outed, everyone who was close to me, in my family, I lost.
Coming out, not through choice. I dated someone at my church. I really, really, really was in love with them. But then a deacon at my church found out and ended up going to this person's, my ex's house and telling her mother and threatening to tell my mother and having the pastor talk to me and stuff. It was ridiculous. My mother struggles with it.
Still?
Yeah, I think she always will.
What about the music business and being gay? How does that? What's that like?
it's one of them taboo things, like, especially especially rapping as well, because like, obviously it's more seen as a butch thing, like, and more of a, like, you know, homeboy thing, talking about girls and money and stuff. So when you're coming in talking about dick and stuff, it's like, wow. So I mean, so it's a bit of a controversial thing, but it's...
Tell me about the lyrics. They're quite explicit, these lyrics.
My lyrics are explicit because when I spit, I feel like I shouldn't have to dumb down or water down anything that's got to do with me because of how I was treated in the black community, and because I feel like no one should have to suppress their feelings so much or be oppressed or be depressed, and I've been through all those stages. So I'm basically unapologetically gay and also literally just saying fuck you. It is what it is. You put it in my mouth, I'm gonna feel you growing. Sink it in deep, feel it in my throat, and your face fucking me, you know I'm not gagging. And when you're busting nuts, you know I'm swallowing. This ain't a joke thing, your kids came to sweep.
In the black community, things can be still fairly complicated, and I think his way of dealing with it, his way of giving himself courage, is in a way to make his lyrics very, very explicit and very, very shocking. So that at least in the middle of that shock, he is out there saying, this is who the fuck I am, and get used to it.
I'd made my mind up that I was absolutely going to keep my sexuality to myself. I had decided that I was going to run two lives, a public life and a private life. So I decided to have an escort once in a while.
Heaven.
And then I found one and I made a relationship with him.
Mm.
The big mistake, of course, was this was not really a relationship.
Mm.
And so we stopped it. And then he sold his story to the Mail on Sunday. So in 2007, I think, right at the beginning of the year, I get a phone call from the BP press office. I'm on New Year's holiday. They're saying, well, John, the Mail on Sunday's on the phone. This is a Friday. And they've got 39 questions or something, and they're all about you being gay. Is that true? On May the 1st of 2007, I had decided that I would resign from BP. What I'm struck by, I think it is the case still, that 2/3 of gay graduates who have been open at university go back into the closet when they go into business.
Really?
And most of that's in finance.
Still now?
Still now. Still now.
Mm.
You know, the top 500 companies in the entire world, you'd think that there are a few gay people running those, statistically, 25, maybe 5%. Actually, there's one, and that's Tim Cook.
Mm.
Everyone else is either in the closet or no gay person made it to the top of one of the big 500 companies in the world.
Right, which is impossible.
It's impossible. I mean, I don't think my role model was a role model I'd want anyone to follow in hiding their sexuality. And now you don't have to. You really don't have to. In your head, you have these terrible fears. You know, that, okay, now everyone knows I'm gay, I'm an open homosexual, no one will take me seriously, no one will talk to me, all my friends will go away, people will cross the street, no government will take me seriously, they'll try and put me in jail in the Middle East and Russia and so forth. Actually, none of that was true. And people would stop me in the street and want to shake my hand and say, we're right with you. We're right with you.
Well, here I am again. Now I'm in Southend, dragged up in my hard hat again, as usual, and I'm off to find a gay carpenter called Steve on this building site on the Chichester Road in Southend. So, let's go. Excuse me, I'm looking for Steve.
I'm Steve.
You're Steve. I'm Rupert.
Right. How you doing, Rupert?
Hi, how are you? we've come to have a chat with you, if that's all right.
Yeah. I didn't come out until I was 23, 24,
Right.
that sort of age. So I was a bit of a late starter.
Right.
You know, I was still, like, when I used to go out clubbing with my girlfriends and stuff, I was a little bit homophobic. We'd all say, oh, keep to the back, keep your back to the wall.
Yeah.
The first time I acted on it, and I threw up 5 minutes later,
Really?
I actually felt physically sick, and then I thought, great, I'm not gay.
Right.
And I was like, the irony, I was thinking, how can you have sex with someone and then suddenly think you're straight because you threw up?
How many people are working on this site?
It's probably about 30 builders at the moment, I think.
And are these people you work with all the time?
No, they change every day.
They change every day?
Yeah, so sometimes when you're coming out as gay, like I might sit in the lunchroom and someone will go, oh, what's your wife's name? And I'm like, I'm into guys. And it's like one of those things I either say or I just keep quiet and don't say. I don't lie, I just say, I don't say anything.
But that's quite interesting. So
because I'm sort of coming out every
day.
job that I go to, yeah. When I first come out, there wasn't any gay builders around. So this young labourer that was working for me at the time came into work and said to me, I heard you're a bit of a batty boy, you like it up the arse. You just like, and I just stood at the top of this scaffold thinking, shit. It was like a paused moment for ages. And I said to him, why, you got a fucking problem with it? He just said, oh, no, I've not got a problem with it. And he just suddenly backed down. But for about 3 months, no one spoke about it. I knew people knew, but they didn't know how to talk to me. Until the youngsters, I think it was more the youngsters that started with a bit of banter, then it became more acceptable and more sort of, they could communicate through banter.
Right. Excuse me, sir. Do you know that he's bent?
Well, I do now.
Oh, did you know before?
No.
Oh, is he the first bent person you've ever come across on a building site?
Yes.
Yes.
To be honest, yeah.
And what do you think about that?
So I done each their own, isn't it?
Right.
Don't matter to me.
And have you ever come across anyone else? Literally never?
Nah, never. Not that I know of, but you never know, do you?
Right. Steve here is gay. Did you know that before?
This morning, yeah.
This morning?
Yeah.
And was it a shock?
Not really, no.
Did these reactions surprise you?
No, not
Really?
at all. I think nowadays it's just, they're talking about your sexuality. No one's really that interested.
Bothered.
Everyone just wants to know they can get on. So no one's really bothered what you do back at home.
So I'm watching Bernard Ingham, Margaret Thatcher's former press secretary, returning to Hebden Bridge. Hebden Bridge is the lesbian capital of the UK. And he's absolutely appalled that there are so many lesbians there. He's pretty appalling. I'm surprised he's not in the Tory government right now. I'm very much looking forward to letting my inner lesbian come out.
So we're going together 17 years.
In this school, how many of the kids are from same-sex couples?
I'm not sure about how many in terms of percentage of this school, but the primary school that the kids came from last year, over 50% of the kids, there's about 20 kids in that class, about 50% of them had lesbian mums.
Right.
So we didn't have to explain anything because it was done for us.
And what about between children themselves? Obviously, there's some children who have two mothers, and then some children who have mother and father. How do they talk among themselves, for example, when they talk about fathers and stuff like that? What happens?
Well, some kids here have two mums and two dads.
Right.
So they might have used a gay male as a donor.
A friend or
a
something,
friend,
yeah, right.
And so they might have two dads, two mums. You know, about
We've
who's
also
the
got
donor.
friends that have kind of said to us, their kids have come home and gone, it's not fair, Billy's got two mums and I've only got one. But actually, you know...
One of the issues we've got in Hebden, though, which probably doesn't happen anywhere else, is quite a lot of lesbians use the same clinic in Manchester. So we have this kind of conversation about, OK, what was your donor profile? What did it look like? OK, well, I went for the fireman, I went for the GP, I went for the security guard. And then we kind of go, oh, OK, great, they're not
really
kind of biological siblings. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello.
How are you?
Hiya.
Hello.
That's Rupert.
Hello, Rupert Everett.
Go and say
How are
hello.
you? What's your name? Excellent. Hi there. I'm Rupert.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Billy.
Billy. Can we walk through the park with you all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Are you applying for the job, Alfie?
Yeah.
No.
So when Debbie and I decided that we wanted to have children, at that point we had to pay for magic seed, didn't we? So we went to a doctor who could get us some magic seed, and your donor had come along. Oh, Billy.
What's the sperm? They've obviously described
Oh
it.
my God. Our kind of attitude towards it is that we just keep talking when they ask and stuff like that, and they can meet him if they want to.
I mean, I think Hebden's been fantastic for us. So when we first had Billy, we lived in a different town and we got quite a lot of harassment.
When you've experienced homophobia from an early age, and it's really exhausting, and to come here, it just feels like you can recover. That's how I feel. I feel like I've recovered. Living here, your sexuality doesn't matter. You're seen as a parent first, and you can just get on with being a parent. And that's all we've ever wanted, really.
Can't get a better place, can you? So
no, you're right that you can't.
Are you happy here?
Yeah.
When you met, you were.
I was still living male, yeah.
Right. And did you always think in the back of your mind that you wanted to?
Yeah, well, I had been thinking it for quite a long time. It was kind of a process of sort of getting up the courage, I suppose. I don't know, it seemed to have like a stigma attached to it, you know. We thought we were going to lose a business. I had to sort of like prepare myself that my transition was going to be seen by the whole town and that everybody was going to be involved in it, and, you know.
I mean, but Kim presented quite male, really, when we first met, you know.
A lot of people were really quite shocked.
It's such a difficult journey you're negotiating. Did you ever, at any point, think of splitting up, or did you always think of going straight on through?
I always wanted to be with Kim. That's never come under question, you know. It's just whether or not I could handle everything that came with that, really, you know. And, you know, throughout the whole journey, we've not known how I'm going to end up feeling towards Kim, if the attraction's going to fade, you know. And luckily, you know, which has been a strange experience for me, my sexuality is completely opened up as I was, you know, throughout this journey. Yeah, you know, so it's like, obviously I'm in a committed relationship with Kim, so I can't really go and explore, you know, other women, but I do feel differently, you know, about my own sexuality now, so...
What would you describe yourself as now?
An accidental lesbian, tresbian.
Tresbian.
I don't know. I don't really see myself as in any boxes, really,
Right,
you know.
just the same as...
Just happen to love Kim, you know.
Yeah. Do you think here was a key place for this to happen, or do you think you could have done it anywhere?
I'll tell you a funny thing that happened once. So I was in there and I was scooping ice cream, and I was like bent over the ice cream freezer, scooping away, and a woman came in with her granddaughter, and she said, "Oh, do you want an ice cream? We'll get the lady to get you one in a minute." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant lady." And then I turned around and she was like, "Sorry, ma'am." And then she went, and then after that she goes, "I mean, lady, oh," and then she got herself really upset.
She was really upset with herself.
And I'd forgotten all about it, and then like a week later she came in with a card. She was mortified that she'd offended me, and I was like, you haven't offended me. If you were doing something to be cruel, well, that would be offensive, but you just didn't know what to say, so...
Being in Hebden, I mean, on the whole, it's been so supportive, we've been so well received, you know.
It's such an extraordinary place. How does the straight community, how does everyone work in with each other?
It just is. I never give it a second thought in any way, shape or form.
And nobody does to them.
But I think if you're... I think in a privileged position, you don't realise what a privileged position, you know, lesbian people are, and I'd never considered that, actually. That it is just as it is. You know, and how comfortable everybody feels.
That's remarkable. It's just an amazing kind of success story in life, in a way, that the whole world has managed to create this place, this cafe, you two. It's incredible, really.
Yeah.